for last weekend's game, so it was pretty special there. And joining us now is the voice, the play-by-play voice of the San Francisco 49ers. Greg Papa joins us here on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix. Greg, a good Friday to you. Rock along with Minuch as always. Thanks for making some time when we get a chance to play the 49ers. And I would like to go back a little bit, if you don't mind, to start this and basically get your thoughts on what changed this team from losing 3 to now being the best team in the National Football League.
Well, they got off to the 5-0 start, and then they went into that 3-game losing streak. But a lot of factors. They faced 2 of the 3 teams they faced were coming off their bye, starting with the Cleveland Browns. And the first play of that game in Cleveland, Deebo Samuel had a hairline fracture in his shoulder. He wound up staying in a few more plays, but he really was not effective. And then later, Trent Williams, the all-pro left tackle, got rolled up on by Shelby Harris. And he played the rest of the game, but it was probably the worst game he's played this year. And that it was rainy and windy and wet off Lake Erie. Minuch knows the weather off Lake Dreary, and I think it impacted Brock's ability to grip it and rip it in that game. That really, to me, is the only poor game he's played in the NFL. He had a couple of throws he could not control to the sideline. He literally had a ball slip out of his hands. But all that being said, he did drive the Niners to the very end. It had a nice outcut to Juwan Jennings on 3rd down to get him in field goal range, and the rookie kicker Jake Moody missed a 41-yarder. And then the next game, Minnesota just lit them up on Monday Night Football. Kirk Cousins got so hot. They had some busts in the secondary. Brock got concussed at the very end of the game on a 3rd down sneak. Jordan Hicks tagged him on the pile, and he threw 2 interceptions his last 5 passes in that game because I don't think he had his full faculties. And then the game against the Bengals, they were coming off their bye. The Niners were tired. Brock was in concussion protocol all week. And then they're coming out of the bye. They've just been a different team. They've added Chase Young on the D-line. Steve Wilkes, the coordinators, come down on the field to call the defenses. They've realigned their secondary, moving Ambry Thomas outside corner and Demo Lenore to nickel. And now they're just rolling. And then Brock's playing so well. His arm is fresh off the bye. And they're starting to cook. And they just got through a great 3-game gauntlet where they won at Seattle on Thanksgiving, at Philadelphia, and then this last game against Seattle at home. And now I'm just a little worried about their injuries on defense. But it sounds like Dre Greenlaw is going to be able to play on Sunday in Arizona. So they're back to playing Niner football. Won 5 in a row to start, lost 3 in a row for all the reasons I just detailed. But now they're back, I think, is the best team in football coming in there Sunday with a 5-game winning streak.
Greg, it's one thing to have all the weaponry, but it seems like these guys are dialed in coming off the bye. Deebo Samuel looks like he's possessed, returning kickoffs, what have you. Looks like Ayuk got over whatever issue he was in the doghouse for this year. He's really getting after it. Then Kittle is Kittle. But it just seemed that this team coming back from that bye week, and you talked about Chase Young coming back from or getting on this team on defense. I don't know. It seems as though they just maybe had a come to meeting Jesus with Shanahan, realized, look, we've got all the talent. We need to go out and get it. Did you notice that as well? Is that just me watching it from afar?
No, they're clearly humming minutes. There's no doubt. And I just think it's a lot of factors. Getting Deebo back, getting Trent Williams back. They had some injuries there that just they weren't themselves. Dre Greenlaw was also out, 2 injury on the defensive side. They got run on. Cleveland ran on them. Cincinnati ran on them. But the weaponry around Brock is as good as any. When you just look at the 5 eligibles, take the 5 offensive linemen and the quarterback away, and look at what they can put out there. You're talking an all-pro in Christian McCaffrey, an all-pro in Kyle Juszczyk in fullback, an all-pro at tight end in George Kittle, an all-pro at wide receivers, Z receiver, part running back, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk is having the best year of any of them this year, over 1,000 yards. You know him from ASU. Mm-hmm. And then big brain Brock just makes it all work. He makes everybody, the ball is all equally distributed. You're likely going to have 3 49ers with 1,000 yards receiving this year. Ayuk's already there. Kittle's going to get there soon. Deebo, I think, will get there, but he missed essentially 3 games. So the numbers are amazing. And then Christian's going to go for 2,000 yards from scrimmage. And he's the only reason Brock may not win the MVP is Christian may steal some votes from him. So offensively, they're as strong as any team in the history of football when you look at the 5 eligibles. And then you got this guy named Dan Minucci mentored years ago at quarterback that is just so smart, so on it. He's the perfect quarterback for this team, for this franchise, for the galaxy of stars around him. No one's complaining about the ball not coming their way because Brock gets the ball to the guy who's most open, and he spreads it around. Look at the ball distribution, the yards, the catches. It's amazing. And then he's got a very demanding head coach that can get a little grumpy. Even if you play great football, Kyle's gonna be on the details, and Brock just has a way of handling him. So it's the galaxy of stars, and I haven't even talked about Bosa and all the guys on defense that make it work over there. But offensively, Brock he's the perfect point guard on this team. He brings it all together, and he's got a great disposition. He's just been a godsend. Where would this 49er franchise be without Arizona's Brock Purdy?
It is good to see. Well, speaking of that defense, I'll just throw this, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, your bookends, and then you got Fred Warner. I mean, I can stop right there and go back to Buffalo circa 1979 with the Bermuda Triangle with Smirless, Haslett.
Triangle? Smirless?
Yeah. Shane Nelson, Jim Haslett.
Great Jimmy Haslett. I love Jim Haslett.
And then throw in Drake Greenlaw. And, I mean, this defense plays downhill, Greg, and they'll punch you in the mouth and not think twice about it.
Well, if you're starting on the nose with Smirless, look at the 2 D tackles. You got Javon Hargrave, the gravedigger. What an amazing player that guy is. The best defensive free agent. Minucci, they signed him, literally an hour into free agency. It's like, what? They got Javon Hargrave? And then you put him next to Eric Armstead, and you've got Cleve Furl actually starts at the base over Chase. And that guy was the 4th overall pick of the draft out of Clemson. And he is a try-hard sucker. He never stops. Watch his hustle. He chases it down from the backside. He's amazing. And then you got Nick and, coming in behind. Now, the concern about this game is Hargrave's not going to play, and neither is Eric Armstead. So they're going to start Javon
2 minutes.
Kinlaw at 1 D tackle and Kevin Givens at the other. And they got a couple of guys that'll back up behind it. Kalia Davis will play a little bit, and they got a little mixture there. You may even see T.Y. McGill get a jersey. But against your team, I'm a little concerned with James Conner and all those A-gap runs inside if they're going to be able to hold up. But you got Fred Warner behind him, obviously all-pro Fred. And then it sounds like, I was a little concerned early in the week with Dre with the hip injury, Dan, but it sounds like a big play Dre Greenlaw is going to be able to play in this game.
Well, talk about your corners. Undersold Lenore. I mean, that kid's what a great year he's had coming up, with his youth and kind of handling that right side all by himself.
Yeah, he's been amazing. Now, it depends on, if Charvarius Ward can play, then Demo Lenore goes in the nickel, goes inside in the slot of the nickel.
1 minute.
The 2 outside corners are Demo and Charvarius Ward. And then Ambry Thomas comes in the nickel, and Ambry's an outside corner. So Diamador Lenore from Oregon is able to play outside corner in the base and inside of the nickel. There's not many guys in the NFL that can do that. Now, the concern would be if Charvarius Ward can't go with this groin injury, then Demo stays as an outside corner with Ambry Thomas, and then Isaiah Oliver goes in the slot. And that's the one area teams have picked on the Niners a little bit is when Isaiah in pass coverage. And then your team in particular, back on October the 1st, when Ambry came into the game, they went right at him, right down the left sideline, and Michael Wilson beat him for a touchdown. They ran back-to-back go routes against him, which you hardly ever see with Hollywood, and then Michael Wilson right behind. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys do as far as attacking Ambry, but he has played much better. But it's the combination, the rush and the coverage, obviously, and the Niners have a young secondary, especially with Talanoa, who bungled down now. Rookie Jair Brown starts at safety, but those guys are covering. They're covering great. Last game, Charvarius Ward went out 4 snaps into the game on defense, and they had to deal with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba in Seattle, and they did a great job against their 3 wide receivers.
Greg, we appreciate you jumping on with us. Safe travels. It's a quick one over here, and we appreciate you making some time. And we are looking forward to hopefully a good game on Sunday.
That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it, Rock and Manuch. I'll see you on Sunday, mate.
All right, my brother.
Greg,
back in Arizona.
You got it. Greg Papa joining us, the play-by-play voice for your San Francisco 49ers. There'll be a lot of 49er fans out there. The roof will be open. We just got word for that. So dress accordingly, Manuch.
I will definitely do
All right. You going to wear your K-State jacket?
No, I got my 49er polo shirt.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Really?
I got my polo shirt. Hard to find over at Shills. My God, what a great place that is.
I've never been there.
Oh, it's huge.
That's what I've
Rock,
heard.
you.
No, I know. I've heard. That's why I'm staying away.
Nuts. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
It's like a dispensary store for,
Yeah,
for a
exactly,
stoner, right?
Exactly.
We'll come back with more Rock and Manuch and Jimmy B.